All right, quick introductory screencast here. I'm working in Replit, and I'm going to show you how to get the user to type in some input, how to save that input in a variable, how to use if statements to make your program do one thing or another depending on the input, how to use while statements to make your program repeat itself, and I'll also show you a little bit about the Replit editor. So first of all, on the left-hand side here, we are typing Python. On the right-hand side, we'll see the output of our program when we click run. So I'm just going to type print hello world right away. I've got IntelliSense turned on in my settings. That's turned on by default. And that means that the editor is going to notice when I'm typing things that are built into Python and show me some hints about it. So it says here like print, we'll take values and show them. So now it's showing me this is all information about the function. This is all about how the print function works. So print just prints whatever values you give it. If I want to type arbitrary words like hello world, I put it in quotes. So I'll go ahead and type print hello world and click run. And I've got my obligatory hello world introductory program. All right, next thing we'll do is we'll take some user input. So the input function, and here it's going to tell me, reads a string from standard input. So I'm going to go ahead and type something, and it's going to read the string and return it. So type your name. Now, that returns a value. To save the value, I'm going to need to create my first variable. Variables can be given any name. It has to be a name that's not a built-in name in Python. So for example, if I tried to name it input or print, that would be a problem, but I'm just going to name it name equals input, type your name. And then I will write good to meet you, and we'll repeat the name back. So we'll go ahead and run this program. It's going to say hello world, type your name. My name is Tom. It writes good to meet you, Tom. Very nice. I can also use format strings to make this a little bit nicer. I can put an F before here, and then I'm allowed to put curly braces inside of my string, and inside the curly braces I can put any expression I want in Python. So in this case, I'll just put the variable name, and it will go ahead and print good to meet you, Tom, on one line, which is kind of nicer. So go ahead and run. Type your name, Tom, good to meet you, Tom. All right, that uses format strings. That's got the little F there, and then I use the curly braces, and I can do any Python I want there. All right, that's pretty good. Next up, let's go ahead and try to write our first if statement. So an if statement is going to have if, and then I'm going to use a value of some kind. Sometimes the IntelliSense isn't helpful. It thinks I'm typing something else, and it puts something else that's not useful there. Now I'm going to use two equal signs. One equal sign is an assignment, that's setting a value. Two equal signs is a test. It's testing, is this equal to something? So I'll check, is the name Tom? And then I'll put a colon. When I hit return, it indents. This code that's indented is part of a block that's being controlled. Anytime you're indented in Python, it means that the code will only run sometimes, or it will only run at certain times. In this case, it will only run if my name is Tom. So I'm going to write so good to see you if the name is Tom. And if it's not Tom, I'm going to write, oops, I don't believe we've met. I used double quotes since I had the apostrophe in there. All right. So now I'll test out both of those conditions. If I say Tom, it says good to meet you, Tom. And then it says so good to see you. I guess I should get rid of that line. I'll put that actually inside the if statement. Oops. Okay. Having trouble here with the auto indentation. Is not doing what I want. There we go. One level of indent. So now let's try that again. Right. Tom, it says so good to see you. And let's say my name is Mark. It's going to say I don't believe we've met. Good to meet you, Mark. All right, so now my program behaves differently depending on what name I give it. All right. All right. I'll ask them how they are today. And now I'm going to make my program be a little moody. If they don't say they're good, I'm going to tell them they have to say they're good. So I'm going to make a new kind of statement. This is a while statement. This will repeat as long as something is true or is not true. So I'll say while the mood is equal to, I'm going to use a new one, not equal to. Exclamation point equals is how we say not equals. So 2 equals is equals, not equals is exclamation point equals. So not equals good. I will say no. All right. Sometimes this IntelliSense is really annoying. If you want to turn off the little hinting, you can come over and disable the code intelligence, and then it will stop popping up those things if they're annoying. I am so glad you are good. All right, let's go ahead and run this program. So line 1, it's going to say, tell me your name. I'll say, Joe. I don't believe we've met. Good to meet you, Joe. And now we say, how are you today? I'll say, okay. No. Tell me you're good. Fine. No. Tell me you're good. Good. I'm so glad you're good. All right, so I wrote a kind of annoying program. It's now going to use a while loop to check if something is true, and it's going to repeat itself forever until the user finally says that they are good, and then it will go on. All right. Next step, we're going to go ahead and take some input and turn it into a number just to show you data types. So input, when we looked at the IntelliSense for it, which I just turned off, always returns a string. A string is like a set of characters. It could be anything. A number is a value that in Python we just type as a number. So like print 2 plus 10, for example, if you just said that, Python knows how to handle that. So it would just print 12. It knows what to do with numbers. But if I said print 2 the string plus 10, I would have an error. So here, I'll put that up top so you can see it right away. So if I said print the string, that's in quotes, 2 plus 10, I'm going to get a trace back. So if I want my program to use numbers, number equals input. Oops. Type a number. And now if I said print 10 plus number, I should get an error. Let's go ahead and just see that error show up. 55. It can't put a string and a number together. So we're going to have to change the string 55 into a number. The way we do that is with the function int, which changes things into an integer. Integers are just any whole number. So number equals int number. Let's go ahead and do that. 55. Now it says 65 successfully. One thing to show you though, if I were to say type a number and then they typed hello, I would get an error when I tried to convert it into an integer. All right, so we will try a new statement. We're going to show you a try block. So try says try to do this thing. And then except says except if the error happens. Now I noticed the error was called a value error when we had the wrong kind of error. So except value error means basically try to make it a number, and if there's a value error, do something different. So now I have to decide what to do if they don't type a number. So if they don't type a number, what should I do? Good question. Maybe what I would want to do is get them to type a number again. No, type a number. Now here's a problem. I need to now go back to line 4 and convert it, right? So that's a little fussy. Like if they said hello, I'd say no, type a number. and now I type 10, but now I've got the string 10, I've got to convert it again. So really what I want to do here then is say, okay, number equals int of number. This is okay, this pretty much works, so let's try it out. We'll say print hello, no type of number, 10, now it's good. But what if they type the wrong thing twice? Hello, hello, I still get the error in my program. So if I want to prevent the error, I need some way to repeat this. We've already got a hint about how to repeat things because we use this while loop down here. So a while loop will keep on repeating. All right. All right, and here's what we can do. We can say while there's a function called type, which I was just confirming, which tells you what type of data is this thing. So we'll say while type number not equals int. And now all of this code has to get perfect. We'll go ahead and run this now. Type a number. Hello. No, type a number. Goodbye. Oops, I put the extra int in there. Let's try that again. Run, type a number. Hello. Goodbye. Goodbye. 77, 87. There we go. All right, and let's make this actually meaningful now. We'll do a little format string that says number plus 10 equals 10 plus number. So now my program is like a little calculator, and it will do some math. Type a number, 55, so it's 10 to 65. Hello. Beautiful. All right, and now if I don't type a number, my program is successfully doing this error checking over and over again until I do type a number. So this is a nice way to force a kind of input. I'm going to use the while statement. I'm going to check if the number is not an integer, I'm going to convert it to an integer. If there's a value error, I'm going to go ahead and have an error. I'm going to go ahead and ask for the value again. That's a nice way to handle an error, try, and accept. So now our program has several types of blocks, blocks that are indented, and that's code that only runs sometimes. So this code will run as long as the number is not an integer. This code will always run, that try, but if it throws an error, rather than ending the program, it will check, is the error an error we expected, this value error? If it is, we're going to run this code instead of throwing the big error. So you can actually use errors to inform how your program runs. All right, there's a nice bit of print statement. I will go ahead and just reorder this. And now this would be the complete assignment that I asked you to do. Please don't hand in my code. You should go ahead and do your own version of it, make it somehow meaningful. You could make even it be some sort of little text game. You have a lot of options now to be creative. You could create a calculator, you could create a guessing game, all kinds of things if you felt like it. So, and again, if you want to make your game fancier, one last thing, triple quotes are very nice for letting you write something. Now I will be a magic calculator. Oh. I'll go ahead and make it a format string so I can include some variables. My friend name, give me a number, and I will give you math. All right, and then maybe I'll show off some more math here at the bottom. So I'll do some multiplication. I'll do some division. And I will do some exponentiation. That's done with 2 time signs. All right, let's go ahead and run this now. So back to the top, type your name. My name is Bob. I don't believe we've met. Good to meet you, Bob. How are you today? Fine. Nope. Tell me you're good. Bad. Nope. Tell me you're good. Blah. Okay, fine. Good. I'm so glad you're good. Now I'll be a magic calculator. My friend Bob, give me a number and I'll give you math. 42 plus 10 is 52 times 10 is 420 divided by 10 is 0.23, and 2 to the 10th power is whatever that thing is. All right, there we go. Now I have done the complete project. I hope this is helpful. Let me just show you a few of the errors you might expect to see if you get lost. So let's say that you leave a colon off and you hit run. We're going to see a syntax error. Syntax errors mean your program can't run at all. So it doesn't matter where I left that colon off. If I leave a colon off anywhere, I'm going to get a syntax error. It's always going to tell me the line number, line 11, and then I can go down there and put it on. And actually, if I put code intelligence back on, it should also give me a squiggle underline wherever the error is. So that's a reason to keep code intelligence on, actually. Same thing would happen if I messed up a quote. If I did that. Oh, in this case, I'm going to get end of file while scanning triple quoted string literal. What the heck does that mean? The error actually in this case happens at the end of the whole file at line 36. So that's a little confusing. In this case, the coloring is helpful. Notice that this all turned orange when I didn't expect it to. And what's happened is I left a quote, I left the end quote off. So if I put it back, the syntax highlighting the coloring comes back. So those are some common errors. You leave a colon off. You'll also get a syntax error if you don't indent properly. So after any colon, there needs to be an indented block because colons always control the next block. So if I left any of these indents out, I'll get an indentation error. All right, and those are probably the errors you're most likely to see in this project. You'd leave a colon off, you'd fail to indent, or you'd leave a quotation mark off. Similarly, if you leave part of a bracket off inside of a format string, you're going to get a syntax error because anytime you got one of these curly brackets in a format string, that's a string that starts with an F, you need the end curly bracket as well. All right, I think I've now covered everything in this little mini project and also the errors that I would expect to see.